Hi, I'm Michelle Shearer. Welcome back to the chaos of my studio as we look at the next stage of this experimental piece that I'm calling Impatience. I started out by casting the face and the feet on this one in concrete. I also have hands to cast but haven't had a chance to do that yet, so Impatience, I've moved on without them. So last time I had pulled together a quick wire armature which I have bulked out with styrofoam and chicken wire. Today I build onto that. I have a brand new bag of Portland cement and some admixes that I'll try, which is the Lanco 751 and the hydrated lime. The mix I'm using is 2 parts sand to 1 part cement. I also have some hydrated lime and I'm using the 751 admix at a 1:3 ratio. I'll just be experimenting with the admixes, the lime, and how much of each I use. It's completely new to me, so I will be going by feel. So I've made the mix up using the 751 already mixed up in the water to get my cement mix. Now the 751 makes the whole thing a bit more, I don't know, it sticks together a little better. It's a stickier mix, a little more like clay than normal concrete, and it should help with the vertical hold. I'm just guessing by feel of how much I should add of these things. Now this is the hydrated lime, and that again I'm just sprinkling in a little to see what difference I think it makes to the texture. It should make the whole thing a little smoother. And once it's thoroughly mixed in, yeah, it's still quite wet. The material is still quite wet, but it's not runny like a slurry at all. It's really reasonably firm and like a soft mud or clay. And so I'm just using it like little wads of clay to build up onto the form. So the reason for the styrene was to take some of the weight out of the finished piece, and the chicken wire actually gives the concrete something to grip into, creates a really nice solid formwork. And as I'm applying this now, I'm just squeezing it into the chicken wire, and it holds up quite well. Now I'll just speed this up a little so you can see as I apply this pretty roughly actually over the whole surface. I should probably mention too that the 751 additive is actually quite smelly. It's you can definitely smell the latex in it. Probably a good idea to wear a mask or a respirator while you're using it. As I was building this up, I realised I could have probably spent a bit more time on making sure that the wire armature was a little better than what it is. It's a little out of proportion in places, but for the sake of this experimental piece, I'm not too concerned. We'll just press on. I'm pretty happy with the way it sticks. I'm not having much slumping or anything on the form. The chicken wire is doing its job to give it a support, and the admix makes it quite clay-like. So it is holding little pieces, just pushing them into the form and pushing the concrete onto itself. I ran out, so mixed up a second batch halfway through, the same volumes as before, and again just mixed together by feel, and was able to just continue to add that to the concrete that was already on there. Now, when I describe the consistency of the material as clay-like, I do mean clay-like. It isn't clay. I don't. I haven't yet been able to mix it where I have the same sort of dexterity as you would with clay. I found when I got to do the hands, I certainly don't have the dexterity with the material to be able to build hands without even onto the wire work that I have there. So I would definitely cast those more detailed pieces for future use. I continued to work on this for about an hour and 3/4, I guess, and I probably could have still continued to work on it for another hour. It it was quite firm, but still easy to be able to manipulate the surface. So if you were doing something different, you might want to carve into it, and you'd certainly be able to do that. I've rough placed some concrete onto the wire hands that I had built on there. Very, very rough. I have a thought that once the whole piece is completely cured, I can come back and work that as solid concrete and have a go at working it as though it was stone. I didn't realise until I'd finished that the camera actually prevented you being able to see her head all the way through. But you can see here I've gone and grabbed some leaves and added some. I'm having a play with adding some extra detail pieces now on top of the rough form concrete around the head and the neck. I've just pushed some concrete onto some leaves to take out the leaf pattern and place them on like decals. And at the end I'll show you her head. I also made some ball work and pushed into the concrete around her head. And when I've added these extra pieces, I actually painted a little bit of the 751 mix directly onto the concrete that was underneath, still wet concrete underneath. And I added a little bit more, and where you can see the balls here, I've dipped the little balls into just the 751 mix as well as I'm pushing them on. It just made them that little bit more tacky, and that seemed to help them hold. So that's where she's finished up today, basically. I think I tweaked a little bit after this, but basically you can see the the leaves and the balls added to the head. As I said, proportions are a little bit out and across the shoulders, which I'm a bit annoyed with myself about, but again, for this piece, not too worried. She's now covered in plastic, and I'll let her sit and cure for the next 28 days. Once that's done, I will experiment with then being what happens when I try to add more concrete to the piece. I will also experiment with a bit of draping of cloth, I think, so some of those little imperfections you won't see anyway. And yeah, a few other things. We'll see how she dries, see if it all stays together without cracking or falling apart, and I'll update you in the next video. You'll see the link to my Facebook page, my artist website, and my Instagram account below. If you're interested in following my work, do that. And if you like this video, please hit the like button and share. Thank you very much.